This is your time. Hi, welcome to another episode of The Way of Excellence. I'm your host, Stanley Bronstein. Today, we're interviewing Ania Halama. Ania is a world traveler who has helped thousands of heart-centered entrepreneurs align with their ideal clients to attract wealth, health, love, mental health, and spiritual wealth. Ania started out working a corporate job that left her living paycheck to paycheck. Exhausted and worn out, she was limited to her dreams of a better life. Ania longed for the freedom to live life on her terms and time to enjoy life to the fullest. One day, she decided to take a leap of faith. She quit her job and she began a journey of self-discovery. The journey has taken Ania all over the world and helped her create businesses, learning new skills, and sharing them along the way. Ania is a millennial manifester, spiritual mentor, plant medicine facilitator, integration coach, and intuitive digital artist. She is also an intuitive healer, Reiki master, angel healer, EFT certified practitioner, Ho'oponopono master, Akashic records reader, angel card intuitive, and law of attraction master. Entrepreneur Magazine listed Ania as a top millennial powerhouse, and U.S. Reporter has listed Ania as one of the top 10 entrepreneurs to follow. She has spoken on national stages like the Napoleon Hill Foundation and the Women Gone Wild Summit. Her expertise has been featured in media outlets including Brains Magazine, Yahoo News, Entrepreneur Magazine, LA Weekly, U.S. Reporter, New York Weekly Times, So Influential, and others. Most recently, her work was featured on a New York Times Square billboard. Ania is a two-time best-selling author of the books Rebel Guide to Spirituality and Women Gone Wild, the Wealth Edition. She is the host of Spirituality for Badass Babes podcast and is the founder of Xpansion Alchemy. How are you doing, Ania?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me, Stanley.
You're welcome. So the first question that jumps out of all that is, what's a badass babe?
Spiritual badass babe, not just a badass babe, but a spiritual badass babe. And I love that question. So anyone can be a spiritual badass. And men, if you're listening to this, Stanley, you as well, if anyone has ever a girlfriend, a wife, a spouse, whatever, if anyone's ever called you a babe, you can be a spiritual badass babe as well. So a spiritual badass is someone who truly embodies themselves, remembers who the heck they are, why they're here, why they're on this planet, living in full authenticity, speaking their voice, being vulnerable, just being themselves fully. And that's something that I embody every single day. And that's what makes me a spiritual badass.
First of all, in response to that, I already consider myself a spiritual badass. So, I'm
What
guessing
about
you
the
are
babe
too.
part?
You want to call me a babe? Go right ahead. I'm secure enough. I can handle
Yes,
that.
babe.
Okay, thank you. Now, one of my experiences has been that when you are open like that, you're authentic like that, you're vulnerable like that, every so often you catch a little bit of heat and you get stepped on a little bit. I mean, I can imagine that happens to you too sometimes, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And sometimes I always say, like, the more light that you shine on this world, whether that's you being a healer, whether that's you being authentic, speaking your vulnerability, whatever it is, the more darkness attaches to you. Whether that's people trying to beat you up, like not physically, actually, but people stepping on you, people talking crap about you, the online space being all crazy, whatever it may be. But it's remembering who you are, remembering where you came from, like what are your morals, what are your own values, and then keep guiding with that light. Whether whatever the outside world has for you, screw that, disregard that. There's always going to be naysayers. There's always going to be people like talking crap. Essentially, live your truth, live your light. You've got this, babe.
So let me ask you a question. Where did you come from?
The cosmos.
Yes, well, that we're all from the cosmos.
Yes, we are. So I'm very big on Akashic records. I read for myself. I read for others as well. I've had multiple readers read for me. I love the Akashic records, and I've actually had 1,358 past lives, which is a shit ton. I really do believe that this is probably my last one. I'm in my early 30s, and I've done more in this life than many people will do in their entire life thus far. I still have a lot more to go. It is not my time anytime soon. I've got a lot to live. But yeah, I remember some of those past lives. I've healed some of those past lives, and then some of them were in the future, some of them in the past. Like time isn't linear for the cosmos. So some are in human form, some are not in human form, and I'm pushing all the time, and it's beautiful.
That I believe in that as well. Um, all big on that. So you started out, you had told me before that you were in your 20s, or pretty much most of the decade of your 20s. You were working, but you were burnt out. You were sick. You didn't feel good. And one day you just sort of said, screw this, right? Do you remember
Yeah, I
that day?
mean,
Do you remember that day? What day it was?
yeah, so it was something that's been creeping up for me for a couple of months actually. And I was like, it's all right, it's coming closer, it's coming closer. I was like, I think I want to do this. I think I want to do this. I think I want to do this. But I'm also like not a very big planner. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna figure it out where I go, when I go. And yeah, I one day came up and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Today is the day. I have enough. That day, I walked into my manager's office. I put in my 2 weeks notice. I started packing up my car. I bought a ticket to Thailand, a one-way ticket to Thailand that same day, and started looking for someone to buy my car, someone to take over my lease and my apartment. Started packing all my crap, got a storage unit, and the rest has been kind of history. I've been traveling ever since. It's been 8 years already since I've done that. And currently, I reside in Colombia, in Medellin. And I am so grateful for this path that I took because I wouldn't be the person that I am today if I didn't take that leap of faith.
It's like I had a similar experience. I didn't pack up and tour the world, but I had February 1st, 2009. It had been leading up to it. At that time, I wasn't at my max weight, but I was 320 pounds, 4 months away from turning 50. Knees hurt, legs hurt, back hurt. Hadn't had a heart attack yet, hadn't had a stroke yet, wasn't on high blood pressure medication yet, but probably should have been. Wasn't on diabetes medication yet, but probably should have been. All these things. And I woke up and I told my wife, I'm done playing this game.
That's exactly what happened with me. I'm done. I was like to a point, and I really hate saying these words because like I don't believe in it at the moment. But I was literally sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I believe like we are the products of what we say. We are our manifestations, and like that's why I don't want to say these words over and over again. But literally, I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Like everything, anxiety, depression, insomnia, horrible IBS, celiac disease. Like I was going blind. Doctors could not figure out what the heck was wrong with me. I went to specialists on specialists on specialists. I spent most of my 20s in doctors' offices, like just trying to get better. And then Eastern medicine came into fruition for me. I got like while in Thailand, that's when my spiritual journey really started. And I started meditating. I started doing yoga more often. I was already doing yoga a little bit and like working out. Like my physical body was okay-ish, more or less, but really started practicing, like sitting in silence, sitting, like letting all of that crap get out of my mind. And honestly, meditation alone healed. I want to say like 85% of all of my problems. Because what stress is that monkey chatter. And what anxiety is that stress, is that monkey in your little brain talking over and over and over again. And if you learn to sit in silence, if you learn to calm it, your anxiety goes away. All of a sudden, you can sleep. Like, I was like, whoa, this is incredible. Meditation for me is a non negotiable at this moment. I meditate at least twice a day, sometimes more. During COVID, I was meditating like 7 times a day because, heck, what else was I going to do? But it is a non negotiable. And it's so simple, so simple. Just a couple of minutes a day, just meditating. And one thing led to another. And that's how I started in the career choice that I'm at right now, because I was like, this is amazing. If I'm able to heal my own self with all of these practices, whether that's EFT tapping, Reiki, going to acupuncture, whatever, I can help other people heal that as well. Because what society doesn't want you to know, what corporate America doesn't want you to know, is like what they give you is like this little pill essentially, and but that doesn't cover, like, go into the deep roots of what we're really going through. Why are these things happening? What are the underlying truths? What are the underlying traumas in yourself, in your body, that this is causing? And once you get into those underlying things, that's when you can start untangling them and start like getting into your subconscious and healing all of these traumas, healing your body. Our minds are such powerful things. You can heal so much with just a reprogramming of your mind. And this is why I'm so passionate about the stuff that I do now and the work that I do with Xpansion Alchemy. We're looking to go into corporations because I don't want anyone else to be stressed and burnt out just like I was in corporate America. If I had the tools then that I do today, I'd still probably be in corporate America. Thankfully, that is not my path. But I'm able to help others now. And I'm so passionate about like helping people heal themselves, finding their truth, finding their authenticity, and living their best freaking lives because they deserve it.
See, what you went through was necessary to become who you are. It's just like
100%.
Yeah. And back to your thing about meditating. You know what they say about meditating? Everybody should meditate 20 minutes a day, unless you're too busy, in which case you should meditate for an
40.
hour.
Yeah.
40 hours.
100%, for sure.
Yeah.
You can always find time for meditation. And like meditation, you can do it however you want. There's no right way or wrong way to meditate. Like a lot of people, when they think of meditation, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be sitting on top of a mountain going, oh, wearing a turban on my head. Like, you can, but that's not realistic for most people. You can do a walking meditation. You can meditate while working
I do
out.
that all the time, hours of walking meditation.
Me too. I did one today. I went for a 2-hour walk this morning. I was just telling Stanley before our call. I'm finishing up a 72-hour fast, so my workouts have been very light. So I went on a 2-hour walk this morning. I meditated. I did breath work on that walk. It was so beautiful. Just do what resonates with you, what feels good in your body. Figure it out for you because every person is different. So just figure out what works for you.
So the next question is, what's on the, you told me your fast is up in 2 hours.
Oh, I can't wait.
What's on the menu?
Fruit,
I'm guessing.
Fast. Yeah, I'm breaking my fast with a banana, some blueberries, and mangoes. And then I'm going to wait about an hour, and then I'll have like an actual meal after that.
Yeah,
I'm saying vegan today, and then tomorrow probably vegetarian. The day after, I'll introduce fish.
Oh no, vegan all the time.
I was vegan for 2 years, actually.
That's, to me, that was one of the best decisions I ever made. When I've been I was vegetarian for 5 years, and then one day, it's funny, I was walking 10 or more miles a day. I was eating what I thought was healthy, and I couldn't get my weight below a certain point.
You've hit a
It just
plateau.
it
Yeah.
would but it kept going between 190 and 220, 190 and 220, 190 and 220. And I said, I'm doing something wrong. So I sat there and I gave up butter, cheese, ice cream.
Dairy.
I gave up those things. And I said, I wonder if I can get down to 180 if I do that. Well, no, I couldn't get down to 180. I got down to 130.
Holy shit.
Yes, I melted. And then since that time, I've put on 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. But I had to get that small to get the fat off of me. Because,
Wow.
but yeah, it made a massive difference. And I mean, I just know for me, you talk about health. I know in the last 10 years, I've been sick one time for 3 days. And that's all of this, this is well before COVID. Okay, one time for 3 days. And those 3 days I did not walk, with the exception of those 3 days. I have walked at least 2-3 hours a day, every day over those 10 years.
Beautiful. I love hearing that.
And this is a guy who was a 300 plus pound couch potato.
Heck yes. What an inspiration.
So my point is, what Ania is saying works, and you can do it. And if you do it, the benefits are unreal. You talk about Thailand. I've got a good friend who lives in Thailand. He moved there, and he's in his late 50s, and he became a runner and doing competitive running. And he was asking me, how can I get better? How can I get better? I said, you need to take the leap and go plant-based. He went plant-based within a month or two. Unbelievable how much better he felt.
Amazing.
All his record times. So it is there. If you're going to eat meat, fish is not totally horrible. Me, I didn't have to make that decision because I've never liked fish. So I've never
easy for you.
Mine
was pescatarian for 10 years, then went vegan for 2 years. And I realized I feel my physical body feels much better eating fish. So now I'm mostly pescatarian.
Yeah, everybody is different.
Yeah, everyone's different. Find out what works for you. But test it. Test out different things, whether that's a vegan diet, a raw vegan diet, vegetarian, whether that's trying EFT tapping, meditation, Ho'oponopono, whatever. Figure out what works for you, but do the freaking work. That's the thing. You got to do the work.
Well, I can tell you what will not work for you.
Sitting on a couch eating potato chips.
Eating ultra processed foods will not work for you. Eating fast foods, junk foods will not work for you. And that includes, there can be vegan junk foods, there can be vegetarian junk foods. Oreos. Oreos are vegan. Knock yourself out. If you eat too many of them, I can promise you it's not going to work for you.
Yep.
So you got into this. You came into yourself. You came into your power. You woke up and you realized who you were. And like most people who do that, you said, time to go kick some ass.
Time to become a badass.
Yes. And so you started doing this. Now, you said you're in Colombia right now?
Yes, that's where I live. I've been here for 5 years.
So you just hop all around and end
up.
Well,
this is home base. Like I've been here for 5 years. This is home for me. The community, the spirituality, the mountains. It's everything I've been longing for and looking for without even knowing that I was looking for. And I found my home.
So we're not getting you back in the States.
I'm going there next month. Actually, I'll be back in the States for a month, but no, like full-time living, probably not. Not to say never, because who knows what's going to happen. I might fall in love and we might move to Idaho. I have no idea. But for now, this is home.
Yeah, gotcha. No, nothing wrong with that. And the main thing is, are you happy?
Oh, I couldn't be more happier. Like things have just been so beautiful in my life lately. And it took a long time. It wasn't an easy route. Like even starting Xpansion Alchemy, like that I went through a mental breakdown with Xpansion Alchemy before I ever started it. And it took a lot of me sitting in that silence, me sitting in meditation, me sitting with plant medicines, me doing the work, and it's all paying off and more right now, and I'm so incredibly happy and grateful as well.
Do you think a lot of the crap you went through that was on you, do you think that was from past lives, stuff you needed to clear out?
Some of it, yes. Some of it was in this life, some of it was karmic loops for sure. um but it's all done. It's all said and done now, thankfully. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other stuff that, because we're always healing. Like if it's not this life, it's another life. It's something. It's always something. But um, embrace the good moments. Like when you are feeling good, lean into that frequency, lean into that vibration of feeling good, and always, always, always stay in gratitude. Gratitude is the ultimate form of receivership. The more we're grateful for, the more universe God has more for us to be grateful for. Just so stay within yourself, know your light, know your values, like know the end result. Yeah, there's going to be bumps along the way. Heck, like we're human at the end of the day in this life, but stay on that path and on that mission.
Can we switch gears?
Yeah.
Okay. In case you haven't noticed, the world's a little messed up right now.
Unfortunately.
Okay. I know I have my ideas. I'm sure you have your ideas. Let's talk about how do we change that? You're on.
You can't change people that don't want to be changed. What you can do is work on yourself, and with working on yourself, becoming a bigger light in this world. Yes, things are going to come into your life as well, but that's okay. You're going to inspire the people and wake up the people that need to hear your message, that need that transformation. You just need to keep working on yourself. That's the only change that you can do, just being the best version of yourself.
See, I believe you sort of hinted it. I'm going to say what you just said in different words.
We're always saying the same exact thing, just in
yeah,
different words.
I believe you can change people. And the way you change people is not by grabbing them by the neck and saying, you need to change, you need to change, you need to change. And any guy who's married knows that going to your wife saying, you need to change doesn't work. Okay. So, but the way you can change people is just like you said, by changing yourself first. It's like putting your oxygen mask on the airplane. You have to put your oxygen mask on before you can help your child. And you put your mask on, and then you begin spreading your light. You begin helping other people. It catches on. People see that. People learn from that experience. And as they learn from that experience, they slowly wake up and they slowly change. I'm a believer. I believe the world right now is in the process of the greatest spiritual awakening in human history.
I just got chills when you said that, for sure.
And I believe it's going to take a tipping point, a critical mass of human beings to wake up, decide enough's enough, want to change. And what that critical mass is, some people say 5% people, some people say 10%. I say 10%, there's 8 billion people in the world. 10% would be 800 million. Let's round it off to a billion. So the process is for a billion of us, which, while that is a large number, that is a smaller number than you think. A billion of us to simultaneously wake up and shine.
And it's starting.
Yes, it is starting.
It's been starting since COVID. It's been happening. I've been seeing more and more people awake, trying things that they've never tried, trying meditation and being all enlightened. Like it is happening. But yeah, a billion people is still like tiny bits. But what we can do is just keep working on ourselves and inspiring those to wake up as well, whether that's offering them a meditation, whatever, just keep working on you.
Well, I said two things about COVID. I did a lot of deep thinking during COVID, and COVID actually was a positive experience for me because it allowed me time to sit back and do my stuff and think, not have to worry about traveling, not have to worry about a lot of these other things. Now, I'm sure if you ask my neighbor down the street whose husband died from COVID and she herself almost died from it, she would have a different perspective than I have. But the two things that I realized from COVID is that, one, I said, first thing is it's the ultimate IQ test for humankind. What will we learn from the experience? And I think we learned a lot, and I think there's still a lot of lessons we haven't learned, or some of us have learned, and some of us don't particularly want to learn. So that's still ongoing. And the second thing ties into what you sort of just said. I believe that there is a massive amount of pent-up energy resulting from COVID, and I predicted that there will be a massive creativity burst when we emerge from the process. And I think we're seeing that to some extent, but even that, all of these things, it's kind of like COVID accelerated a lot of trends that were already happening. But we've kind of pulled back from that, and it's about time to make another push. And all of these things, they happen in their time and in their place. And one of the things that I've learned, I imagine you've learned, is do you ever feel like I've learned all these things? Look what they've really done for me. They really, really work. Damn it, why don't you wake up and do the same thing? Why are you screwing around, taking your time? Wake up.
Sometimes I do want to take people and shake them up, but that is not the way to do it.
No, but you do feel that way.
I have before, yes. With certain people, I'm like, come on, why aren't you getting this?
Yeah, and the solution is love, compassion, patience, and understanding, and being there for them. I mean, like, I had somebody yesterday. I hadn't talked to the guy in probably 10 plus years. He told me his wife has stage 4 cancer. And I sat there and I said, have any of your her doctors talked to you about the role of nutrition in her healing process? No, they have not. And I sat there and I said, well, the research out there is pretty clear that the less animal products you eat, the less animal dairy you eat, and in her case, maybe even eliminating them completely.
And sugar.
While there's no guarantee on anything, odds are it's definitely not going to hurt her, and odds are it could help her quite a bit and really stop this cancer in its tracks. Although when it's stage 4, you don't know how far gone it is, whatever. But and he was at least open to that. I took a thumb drive. I gave him a bunch of information. He came to my house. I put all these videos, all this information on it, copies of the research materials. And his wife is actually a doctor. So, and she's in her 70s. And whether or not she'll embrace it, I don't know. But all I could do was share the information with them. Hope with love and compassion and understanding, and hope that they will receive it and say, if you have questions, pick up the phone, call me. You're welcome to call me anytime. That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, my inclination was, damn it, it's pretty clear here. Just do this. Start doing this immediately. Drop what you're doing. Start doing this and give it a try. But that's not the way it works.
Exactly. Yeah. All you can do is keep shining that example. But you gave it with love, and hopefully it is received with that same love as you gave it with.
Okay, now let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Tying your experience and the parallels between your experience and my experience. Okay, weight is a little bit different than what you were going through, because weight problems manifest themselves outward. You know, so you can.
I was 50 pounds overweight as well. Like,
okay.
I'm 5 foot tall, so that's a lot for
that's
a little tiny
substantial.
girl.
That's
Yeah.
substantial. Yeah. So did you have people pointing you to the solution for a long time before you finally adopted that solution? I mean, I for years I had people pointing me, semi pointing me in the right direction, and I ignored it, fought it, ignored it, fought it, ignored it, fought it. Did you have any of that when you look back at it?
Yes and no. I was seeing signs of certain things. Like, for example, I was dating a guy whose dad was a Eastern medicine practitioner. He did acupuncture, he did kinesiology, he did muscle testing, all those things. And I was always like, oh, okay, like this is some crazy like woo-woo stuff. But like at a point I went to go see his dad and I was like, okay, I give up. And that's actually what transpired this. They're like, okay, like I'm looking for a way of healing. Western medicine isn't working for me. Let's try this Eastern medicine stuff. So that was my first experience with it. Then I was dating a guy for 3 years who was an EFT tapping practitioner, like a certified EFT tapping coach who was amazing at it. And I always saw him like tapping on his face, like in the corner of the room all the time. And I'm like, this is crazy woo-woo stuff. Like, what are you actually doing? Like this crap doesn't work. No. And he's like, all right, let's sit down, have a session, like have a full-on session. You got to give your full belief though, like that is gonna work. We did a session for anxiety. It was like my anxiety went away like in a blink of an eye after that session, just like a 45-minute session. I was like, whoa, this shit actually works. Like that's incredible. I had little stuff like that popping in, but it wasn't for long. I was also very young. So like my entire circle wasn't into any of this crap. Now every single person, I don't have a person that's not into some kind of spiritual woo stuff. But like my circles were very different. I was very young. I grew up in Chicago, like partying, drugs, alcohol, sex, all this stuff. Like we just hung out in very different circles. I hung out in very different circles than I do
now. Yeah, I'm sure you did. And I think we all can say that. I mean, first of all, we were all young at least once. You know, I too.
Goodness.
Yeah, that's like a story. I heard Jackie Kennedy, when she was in the White House, she had the Queen Elizabeth, she had the Queen of England. She was showing her around the White House, and just then the elevator opens up, and some of her children run out screaming and making all this noise and everything else. And Jackie Kennedy is all embarrassed. And she tells the Queen, she says, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so embarrassed. And Queen Elizabeth said, relax, I've got one of those at home too. Prince Charles. So yeah, we've all been there. And
now it's a testament to Zoom calls. Everyone's like, oh, there's children running around, I'm so sorry. Like, it's okay. We have them too.
Yeah, dogs bark. It's like I did an interview the other day. She said, "What happens when my dog starts barking?" I said, "Well, your dog's gonna be part of the interview."
Your dog starts barking. Yeah.
Hello, how you doing? Hi, Spot. Um,
We're dog-friendly podcast here.
yes, absolutely. So it's all going with the flow. Let me ask you, as we go to wrap this up, do you have anything you want to add? Any advice you want to share with
Yeah,
people?
for any listeners, you can do, be, and have absolutely anything that you put your mind to. You have the power to control your mind, to create your reality, whatever it is, whether it's going off to Thailand, whether it's falling in love, whether it's manifesting money, manifesting health, whatever. You can do, be, and have absolutely anything. If you can think it, you can have it. You can bring it into your reality. Don't let any of those naysayers tell you no, because there's going to be a ton of them. When I first left to Thailand, I had so many people tell me like, "Oh, what if something bad happens? What if you do this? What if it's gonna be? What if you're gonna hate it? What if? Like, but what if I fall in love? What if I find myself? What if I heal myself? What if something good comes out of this? What if I actually love this experience?" You have the power to create that reality, whatever you want. Freaking go after it, babe. You've got this. You are a badass, babe. You can do, be, and have absolutely anything that you want.
All those there's a name for people who tell you no all the time. You know what that
Naysayers.
no. You know what that name is?
What?
Family.
Yep. Some
Frequently.
friends too. Yeah,
Yeah.
some friends
Sometimes
too, but
okay,
friends can be family as
family
well.
and friends.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, well, okay, like you sort of hinted at it before. I'm guessing I'm guessing two things. I'm guessing you still have some lifetime friends who've been your friends for a long time. You still have like two or three of those around, I'm guessing.
Not many, no.
But maybe one or two. And maybe not. Okay. And I was gonna say I'm guessing you have a totally different circle of friends now, which it sounds like
Completely different circle of friends. Completely different. I do have one girlfriend that I've been friends with maybe 15 years, but not lifetimes. We moved into the suburbs when I was in high school. So like the kids that I hung out with, like don't really talk with them from like grade school. So but that's okay. Fine. We're all on different paths. We're all finding ourselves, and whatever is meant to be is meant for me, meant to be for all of us, always in perfect divine timing and divine alignment.
perhaps you will run into them again one day. You never know.
And maybe if I come to Chicago ever, we'll see.
You might
The
walk out your
world
door.
works in mysterious ways, that's
You
for
might walk.
sure.
Okay, I'll tell you how the world works in mysterious ways. Okay, one of my older brothers, he was in London and with his wife, and they wanted to figure out a good restaurant to go to for dinner. They called back to the States. They called one of their friends' parents. They were from London, so they knew the place pretty well. They called them to ask them where should they go eat for dinner. They didn't answer the phone, so King Kong didn't know where they were. They're walking around London. Out of the blue, somebody taps them on the shoulder, and it was the parents. And they all wound up having dinner together.
Oh, amazing.
So
Amazing. It really does work in mysterious ways. I have a
shit.
more or less similar story that I'd like to share really quickly
Go ahead.
before we wrap up. So like, I was in New York, middle of Times Square. I was on a business trip, and I have business meetings here and there. But I'm sitting at this bar waiting for a friend of mine to come. And while I'm sitting at this bar, I overhear a voice that I recognize. I turn around, I'm like looking, I'm like, who, like, I know this voice. Who is this? A bodyguard moves out, and it's this guy, Adam, that I know. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Adam, out of all places, like, I met him at an airport in Chicago. Very strange. And then we ended up getting a drink, and we went on our merry ways. 2 weeks later, I'm at an airport flying from Phoenix to, where was I going? To Mexico somewhere. And same thing happens. I recognize a voice. I'm looking around. It's this other guy, also named Adam who's from the UK. I'm like, what are you doing in Phoenix? Like, what? Very strange how the synchronicity came about. And then shortly after, I met this other Adam that I was supposed to meet for that particular reason. I was like, okay, the universe is giving me Adams.
Yeah, me, it's women named Amy. I've got,
Okay.
there's like 4 or 5 Amy's, this Amy, that Amy. My wife's got a friend, Amy. So whenever we're talking about Amy, we go, you're Amy, this Amy, that Amy,
Living in
yes.
Colombia, I get it with all the wands. There's all the wands over here.
Well, there's Don Juan.
Yeah. Juan Sebastian, Juan Julio, Juan Pablo. I'm like, goodness, what are you talking about?
Yeah, there you go. This has been a pleasure. Very much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Stanley. This has been an absolute pleasure.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Be limitless. Focus your mind, train your body, feed your spirit, because this is your time.